Tarmac, the fastest racing surface in rally. It's the terrain of the fastest duels in the World Rally Championship. While most of the drivers shine on gravel, there are a few of them who show their talent driving on sheer asphalt. One of them, perhaps one of the most charismatic drivers of the 90s and early 2000s, is the Frenchman Gilles Panizzi. And this is his story. Born in Monton, near the Italian border, a young Gilles used to tame the mountains along with his brother, Hervé, staring at race cars passing by. The Panizzi had the opportunity to attend many rally events as spectators. Mainly the Monte Carlo, the Rally of Sanremo and the Tour de Corse were fairly close, allowing them to watch WRC cars passing by at least 3 times a year. Soon, Hervé became Gilles' co-driver for the first rally to see what it was like. He was actually into bikes, but there was no money for both, so they ended up sharing the ride for an entire career. Gilles will tell later, "For us, the easiest way to practice was the cheapest as well, and that was to buy a little kart and go to the tracks. And to learn how to control a car on a track was the best way for us to understand and improve." He then switched to cars, debuting at the Rallye de Nice in 1987, driving an Opel Manta. And the following year, he took his brother along with him to the Alpine Barra Rally, which was also hosting the European Rally Championship. The Panizzis finished an impressive 13th overall and the 12th in the French Championship. They continued with this car, self-financed, for 2 seasons, but the future was bright for them. It was the early 1990 when he debuted in the World Rally Championship, driving a Lancia Delta Integrale on the roads of Monte Carlo. But as costs were rising, being a professional driver was a must to keep racing. And that's when Gilles, who at the time was making his way through the Peugeot Cup, got a contract with Peugeot for 1, 2 and then 3 seasons. Soon, his talent was recognized, and Panizzi found himself right at the center of the development work for the brand's rally program, collaborating with the Peugeot engineers on the development of their racing cars, starting with the 106, then getting faster and more evolved cars over the years. He actually loved testing, considering that phase fundamental in order to win rallies. Peugeot noticed that I was quite gifted at testing cars and developing them, so all the cars went through my hands practically. The 306 Group A, the 306 Maxi, which was an incredible car, and finally the 206 WRC car. It was 1996 when Panizzi found himself in the famed Peugeot 306 Maxi, a car he knew well and loved just as much. Back-to-back French titles, 9 victories and 2 WRC podium finishes at the 97 Tour de Corse in Catalonia had put Gilles and Hervé on the map. He was a rising star, brilliant while driving on asphalt. He tells to Dirtfish, "There were 2 years during my career where we were pretty much unbeatable, 1997 and 2002. In 2002, as soon as you put me on asphalt, nobody could beat me. Nobody. It's true, not even Lab. These were the 2 most beautiful years of my career. I can put one above the other, both are at the same level." The Peugeot 206 raised the standards for WRC cars. On track from 1999, it bucked the trend of small hatchbacks being quick but not winning titles, with the first of Gronholm's 2 titles. In that first year, Panizzi achieved the 2nd place in Sanremo. The following year he was getting faster and faster, which helped him win the famous Tour de Corse, his home race, and the following race, which was once again in Sanremo. 2001 was another significant year. He won the Sanremo rally once again, climbing on the podium also in Spain and France. It was clear that, although fast on dirt, he was an asphalt specialist. The following season made Panizzi an icon of the discipline. He was so dominant on asphalt that he made history at the Rally Catalunya, doing donuts in front of a packed crowd at a hairpin, having the win firmly in his hands. Out of 4 full tarmac rallies that year, Panizzi won 3 of them, all those where he participated. The car was so fast and optimized that the rallies were won with over a minute advantage on the other manufacturers. At the apex of the success, however, the team principal Corrado Provera decided to stop the development of the 206 WRC and focus on the 307, which was arriving the next season. Drivers' opinions, which insisted on continuing with the 206, were not taken into account. Furthermore, the latest modifications to the 206 worsened the car, which made it particularly hard for Panizzi and his teammate Gronholm to keep up with the fastest cars. Gronholm won 3 races on dirt early in the season, while the asphalt events were still to come. But as Panizzi says, the car became hard to drive, and he found he was putting in more effort for less reward. That led to arguments with Provera, as no one was up to changing his mind. Rallying, however, Panizzi was still at the top, winning again in Catalunya, locking the first place for the last time in his WRC career. In the end, Panizzi left Peugeot convinced that the championship was achievable only if Provera followed the driver's ideas. He himself says, "Even with Citroën and Loeb, I think we could have beaten them. I just managed 2 in Catalunya. I finished second unfortunately in Sanremo because I made a mistake with tire choice. But I was putting in almost double the effort than the year before where I was winning easily. In 2003, I was either second or first, but I was forcing the car, and it was the same car." For 2004, Panizzi joined Mitsubishi, not being able to replicate the success of the previous season. And a year later, he achieved the podium in Monte Carlo. Unfortunately, it was the last. He ended up moving to Skoda in 2006, but left the World Rally Championship after 2 races. Gilles is still racing for fun in national events. His love for rallying is still burning. And his story is the tale of a guy like many, born with one big dream and with little money, but never giving up, slowly making his way to the top level of motorsports. Gilles will be remembered as one of the most beloved and talented drivers in the category, even though he never won a world championship. His donuts are the portrait of a sport, motorsport, that lives of madness and skill, and Panizzi was not lacking at all. He's a champion on his own, one of a kind. He is the king of asphalt.